What's up, everybody? Straw Hats Are Cool here, and we're back again with another video. Today we are going to be hopping on the sim and doing some gameplay with the blue yellow ace leader, which was introduced in Starter Deck 13. But before we get into the deck breakdown, as always, I do just want to say thank you so much to everyone who has been supporting me and the channel as of recently. It really does mean a lot. Really excited to be getting back on the content grind a little more consistently again, and I hope that you are all looking forward to it as well. So if you're enjoying the content, be sure to like the video, as it does help me out a lot. And if you've not done so already, do consider subscribing to the channel, as that also does help me out a lot. If you're not already in the Discord, do consider joining that as well. We will be doing some more giveaways over there for Starter Deck 13. I have 2 more of these to give away, and I will be starting that giveaway here within the next week, if I had to guess. So keep your eye out for that, as I will be giving away 2 more of those on Discord, as well as just enjoying hanging out with some fellow enjoyers of the One Piece trading card game, talking about the market and all that good stuff. And if you're planning on buying any cards off of TCG Player, do consider using my affiliate link. Link for that will be down in the video description as well. With all of that said, let's go ahead and jump into the deck breakdown. So we are going to be doing some gameplay with the blue yellow ace leader from Starter Deck 13, as we already mentioned. Now, I have some very mixed feelings on this leader. It is not a bad leader, and I'm probably going to trash on it a little more than it deserves, because it's really not a terrible leader. It's just a very infuriating leader to play at times, because it's just not the most consistent deck out there. It is very high rolly, but when the deck works and you see your pieces in the right order, it feels like it's impossible to lose. So what does he do? Well, for 2 Dawn, activate main once per turn. You may look at the top 5 cards of your deck and add up to 1 5-cost character card from among them to the top of your life, face up. Then place the remaining cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. It also has the effect, at the end of your turn, send all face up cards in your life to the trash. So just upon reading it, it doesn't quite make sense, because you're putting a card in your life face up, but then at the end of your turn, it goes to the trash. Well, utilizes a lot of the cards from Starter Deck 13, of course. For those of you who don't know, there are a lot of 5-cost cards in Starter Deck 13 who all have a smaller 2-cost variant, which allows you to play them from the life for free, essentially, while also buffing your leader up to a 7k. So let's talk about the rest of the cards, and then we'll kind of talk about the whole game plan of the deck. So first, let's talk about Pudding. Pudding is a card which was introduced in OP06. It is a 4-cost, 4,000 power character with 1k counter. And some of you might be familiar with this one because it has been seeing some play in the current format prior to the release of OP06. But it has a pretty annoying on-play effect, which has your opponent return all of their cards from their hand to their deck and shuffle, and then they draw 5 new cards. So this is really good if your opponent is amassing a large hand. Basically allows you to reset it like it would be at the start of the game. So if your opponent's got 7 or 8 cards, you can play this to drop your opponent's hand down to 5. Now, with this leader in particular, we will be doing a lot of large swings very early in the game. And typically our opponent is going to take those, but I feel like this is kind of just a skill check card at this point, because a good player who is kind of aware of what this deck does will probably start counting out of your 7k attacks earlier than they would normally, because they know that we are playing this Pudding and kind of what our deck does. But you know, there are times where you just can't counter out of a 7 or the bigger attacks you'll be doing in the mid game. So Pudding is a very good fit for this deck. I could see you dropping it down to 3, because like I said, I feel like the more this card gets played and the longer the format goes on, the more people are going to be ready to play around this card in blue decks. Next card is a card which is not officially out yet in English, but will be released later this week on Friday with the release of EB01. This is Viola. It is an SR from EB01, 2 cost, 0 power, 1k counter. It has blocker, and on play you can choose one of the following. Look at all your opponent's life and then return them in any order, or turn all of your life cards face down. Now, we are primarily using this card in this deck for the second effect, because as we stated when we were looking at Ace's leader, at the end of the turn, if we have any face up life cards, they go to the trash at the end of the turn. Well, Viola essentially allows us to heal because we can put a 5 cost character from our life face up, and then we can play Viola for 2 Dawn to put it face down, in turn healing us, which can be pretty powerful because it's also a blocker. So we're healing, getting a blocker. But really it's just kind of backup, because ideally we're playing out the characters we put there from our life, but sometimes we don't hit the right card, or we don't have any targets that we can cheat out. So you can just play Viola, heal, save yourself another life, and it's pretty good. It's a very, very strong fit for the deck, in my personal opinion. I think OP06, it's a lot harder to run this deck. This card does help a lot in my opinion, but the deck still got some issues. Next up, we've got Hiyori. Hiyori is a 2 cost, 0,000 power character with 2k counter, and it's got the on play that we can essentially swap a card from our life with a card from our hand, so we can take one from the top or bottom, and then we get to put one back on the top. Synergizes pretty well with a lot of the other cards in this deck. As we mentioned, we're going to be playing cards from our life. So sometimes you can even use the leader effect, just grab the card we put there, put something else there, and then play the card from hand from our life now that we swapped it with Hiyori. So again, kind of just a perfect fit for this deck. Really works well with all of the 3 brothers, but I think it works especially well with Ace and of course Luffy. All right, next up we've got Sabo. Now this is where we kind of get into the starter deck 13 cards. So Sabo has the activate main that we can trash him to play a 5 cost Sabo from our life cards, and then give our leader 2000 power until the end of the turn. So again, this is one of those cards we're playing because we're trying to put these 5 cost characters in our life so that we can play them out with the Sabo, Ace, and the Luffy. They all have the same effect for their respective characters. So Luffy's going to play out a 5 cost Luffy from top life, Ace is going to play out a 5 cost Ace from top life, and Sabo plays out a 5 cost Sabo from top life. If you've been playing with Black Yellow Luffy at all, I'm sure you're familiar with these cards already, but if not, that's what they do. So, well, what do the 5 cost characters that we're going to be playing out of our life do? Well, Sabo is a 5 cost 6000 power character with 1k counter, and he has the on play effect. You may trash the top card from your top or bottom card from your life and KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. Now, this one's a little interesting, and really we're only playing it mostly just because it is another card we can use to bump our leader up to 7k for during our opponent's turn. The on play effect can come in handy sometimes. It is just a little bit costly having to trash a life at times. But this is another card kind of like Viola, where if you don't see the right target with your Ace effect on your leader, you can just play the Sabo to trash that face up life so that you're not totally losing value out of your leader effect. Now granted, that is a 7 Dawn play and it does kind of suck to play this from hand, but worst case scenario, sometimes it can come in handy. So you just use your leader effect, put something in life, then you can play Sabo to trash that life because you're going to trash it at the end of the turn anyways, and KO one of your opponent's 5 cost or lower characters, which is pretty solid. Ace is a 5 cost 7000 power character that has the on play. If you have 2 or less life cards, it gains rush. Now this is an on play effect. It's not just like a natural effect. So if you play this card when you have 3 or more life, you do not get rush even if you bring yourself down to 2 life through other means. So that is something you need to keep in mind with Ace. but really he's like the backbone of this deck. We want to start playing out Ace as early as we can, because ideally we go second, and we can start pumping our leader up to 7k on turn 2 and just spitting out these bodies. Typically you won't be rushing with the Ace on turn 2 because you'll probably still be at 3 life, but the whole idea of this deck is that we're just going to be swinging big numbers early out the gate. Typically on turn 3 you want to play out this Ace, and then because you're pumping your leader up to 7 and we've already got 2 Dawn on your leader, then you're going to be swinging 9, so you're going 7-9, and that's kind of like where we get to the pudding thing, because your opponent's probably going to be taking most of those hits pretty early. You know, they've only had a turn or two, they've not got a lot of cards in hand, so they're just going to take those couple hits early, but then you can punish them by dropping down pudding on the following turn. Garp is our searcher of choice for the deck. He is a top 5 searcher who looks for Ace, Sabos, or Luffys, and then you put the rest on the bottom in any order. Ideally, we're just grabbing the 2-cost variants, so our little Luffy, our little Sabo, and our little Ace. We want our 5-cost to remain in our deck so that we can grab them off of our Ace's leader effect. But yeah, just our searcher. Luffy, 5-cost, 6,000 power character. He's got the activate main. This character gains plus 2,000 power until the start of your opponent's next turn. Then, if you have 1 or more life, you draw 1 card and trash the top card of your life. Typically, we're not using this effect with this leader either. It's just another body we can spit out with a kid who bumps our leader up to 7k. So, again, like I was saying, this deck's just kind of awkward, which can be a little bit infuriating at times, because, to be honest, the only one that really synergizes with the deck is Ace. But you gotta play the other ones so that you have bodies you can spit out, pump your leader up to 7k. Now, this does get a little better moving into later sets. In OP07, we get the Egghead Luffy, who's pretty solid. Another Luffy we can spit out. I think it's more or less going to replace this one just because the effect on that one is much, much better. And then we get some other Aces as well, which does help the deck out quite a bit. But I don't know, the deck's just a little awkward. So last couple cards of the deck, we've got Yamato, just a 2k counter, 5-cost, 4,000 power. It has Rush, and on play we get to look at all of our life cards. We put 1 of them on the top of our deck, so we're kind of losing a life by playing it. But then you get to reorder the remaining life cards, which can be okay sometimes. Ideally, it's just a 2k counter and we're never playing this. But it is also 5-cost, so kind of like I was saying with the Viola, sometimes we don't see any of our 5-cost brothers. We can put a Yamato in life, play Viola. Now we've just healed a 2k counter into our life and got a blocker out of it, which is pretty solid. We're running 4 copies of Sanji's Pilaf, just Pot of Greed, draw 2 cards for 3 Dawn. Also got a trigger that plays the card for free, which is really great when you see it in your life. This is mostly like a turn 2 play going first, because you don't have a lot else you can do on your second turn going first, and we really just want to be drawing into as many 2-cost kids as possible so that we can maintain a 7k leader throughout the majority of the game. Now I'm running 2 copies of the 7-cost event Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. I think this is a really strong card, especially into a deck like Black Yellow Luffy, who's playing a lot of 5-cost characters that can't be KO'd. This can just send them to the bottom, which is really, really nice. It is a little awkward being a 7-cost, because in order to do kind of our leader combo with one of the kids, we need 4 Dawn. So being a 7 is a little awkward, but I'm running 2 copies because I do think that it can help in certain matchups. This deck list was largely inspired by the deck that Dexter Reilly had posted on Twitter, Ace of Spades on Twitter. If you're not familiar with him, very good player. A big fan of Ace, and he's been trying to cook with this leader. So, you know, I give most like credits to him for kind of coming up with the shell for this list. I think I swapped 2 Sheer Hoshis for the Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, but for the most part, this is his deck. So credits to Dexter Reilly for the deck list. Like I said, it's a pretty fun deck, but it can be very frustrating at times because I feel like it's so often that you end up either whiffing with your leader ability or seeing a brother when you don't have their respective 2-cost variant in your hand to play from your life. So I don't know, the deck just feels very awkward, but like I said, when you hit the nuts and you're drawing perfectly, it does feel pretty unstoppable because you get to maintain a 7k leader while also spitting out pretty big bodies for a low cost. So that's the deck list. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. But with all that said, let's go ahead and jump into some gameplay. I'll see you there. Alrighty, we have a game here against one of the other brothers. We've got it against Sabo. We do have a couple kids in this hand, so we are going to keep this one. We are going second, which is what I prefer to go with this deck. We're going to start off with a Garp. And we've already got a Luffy, and there's a Sabo. So I guess we're going to grab a Sabo because we've already seen 2 Luffys and we've only seen 1 Sabo. So odds are that we'll see another Sabo before a Luffy. And we're going to go ahead and pass back to our opponent there. I have a lot of fun playing the Sabo deck. If you hadn't seen my video on it, I posted one just a couple days ago. So do consider checking that out. If I remember, I'll, drop a little link somewhere up there. They're going to be swinging 7. I don't got any 2K, so we're just going to take that. Get the Viola. So this is kind of good backup, like I said. We do also have the Hiyori now, so we could potentially just put the Luffy in and spit it out. But let's go ahead and try digging, see what we find. We do see a Luffy. One of our aces gone now. So we're going to go and put the Luffy in and just play it from our life using the 2-cost. And then, of course, we're not going to use its activate main. But now we get to swing 9k with our leader since it's pumped up to a 7. So now it's a lot harder for our opponent to attack into us, especially since this is a deck that likes to play a lot of rush cards. Makes it pretty tricky for them to hit into us. So here we just see them play the Hikajuno and pass because they can't swing 7 into us. We do have the ace. Unfortunately, we don't have the little ace card, so we don't get to... we aren't going to be able to do anything with that one just yet. Let's see. So we're going to... If we play... We use our leader effect, we're really digging for a Sabo because that's the only kid we have in hand. But we haven't seen one yet, so we'll do it. We do unfortunately whiff. So we're going to go ahead and put the Yamato in life. It does a little unfortunate that we're seeing all our Yamatos like that. Yep. And then we're going to go ahead and play the Viola to flip the life down so we don't lose that life now. And then we'll go 7 and then 8, I suppose. We could have alternatively just use Luffy's effect to get another big swing in, and then potentially try and follow up with a pudding on the next turn, which would have been okay. But I'm just going to take the heal. Sabo's a pretty aggressive deck, so I don't mind having the additional life cards. They're going to be swinging at my Luffy, and I think I'm just going to block this one, see if they want to swing into it again with their leader. I imagine they're playing something down, so yeah, they're going to be swinging 7 at us, which I will just happily take that one. And then they're going to be playing out as Zoro, pumping it up to 7, attacking us again, which again, I'm going to take this one as well. Another Hiyori. Didn't find an ace, unfortunately. I was hoping we could find a 2-cost. Unfortunately, that was not the case here. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to try and just get them to trigger this so I can Gravity Blade, since that's what I drew for my turn. Get rid of both the ace and the Okiku. So let's start with a 7k swing. See what they decide to do there. Now, maybe they're being cautious because I am leaving up 7 Dawn, but they do just decide to trigger it out. So let's just go ahead and play. Well, let's actually attack with our leader. Maybe they take it and they trigger something better than the Zoro out, and we'll bottom deck that instead. They are just going to counter that one, makes sense. And then we're going to bottom deck those two. So good control over the board right now on our end. They're going to play out the Luffy, and they can potentially do the loop, but it does not look like that's what they're going to be doing here. I'm just going to counter with the Yamato and one of the puddings. And then they're going to put the Luffy back in life. Swing 7 at my life. I have a lot of 2Ks. I'm just going to take this one. Another Sabo's a bit unfortunate. Would like to see an ace, and of course, now we see the Sabo. Let's go ahead and use our effect. We do find another Sabo, which is pretty nice. We get to pump our leader up to 7k. We're not using the on play effect. There's no reason to. And now here I can actually just play the ace from hand. So we're going to go 7, and then we can go 7-9. So you can kind of see the power of the deck here being a pretty consistent 7k leader, on top of the fact that we're just spitting out pretty big bodies. And even though we haven't been able to cheat out an ace, hard playing it doesn't feel too bad either. Just being a 5-7 rush is pretty solid. So I think we're in a pretty good position to close out the game next turn. I don't think we're in peril of losing this turn, considering we've got several 2Ks in our hand. They are going to be attacking our Luffy, which I'm going to go ahead and protect. Just drop the Luffy. And then they're going to be healing. Probably swinging another 8 there. No point in keeping the pudding at this point. Got a Pilaf. Let's just go ahead and start with a 7, see what they do. We know that card's a brick. We can do another 7. We can use our effect. We get another Sabo. Go ahead and just play that one out. Makes our leader a 9. We can swing 9. And then, assuming there's no trigger, we can pump our Luffy up. We're just gonna go ahead and do it. Get that extra 2,000 power. Then we're gonna swing in for 13. No way they had it there. So got to showcase kind of what the deck does there. Not the worst showing. We didn't see any of our little ace, which, like I said, it's kind of like what makes this deck so frustrating to me, is because it's just so often that you don't see the right pieces and things are just super awkward when you don't. But we were able to see several Sabos and Luffys, and we had those, so it all kind of worked out in the end. So yeah, not sure what else my opponent could have done different there. I did have a little Luffy, so maybe on that one turn they could have just looped the Luffy, pumped their leader up to a 7k. Did seem like they were missing their pieces. They didn't see their aces, so they weren't able to maintain their 7k leader either, which was a bit unfortunate for them. I got a game again. Small purple Luffy, not one you see every day. We're gonna go second. Not great. That's worse. That is worse. Let's take the ace. Okay, we're gonna counter that one. And let's do the thing. Well, we're not getting the rush, but 7k leader is also pretty good, so we'll take it. And next turn, I guess we're wanting to find a big Sabo off the top 5. So if we don't, yeah, I'll take it. Probably shouldn't have. That's not terrible. Little peeky peek. No bueno. We will play Viola. And we're gonna go 7-9. We are still at 4 life, which isn't too bad, but their board is a little better than ours. If they find... Ah, man. I'm so bad. I fell right into their trap. Oh well. Oops. That's really pretty bad. 2-2Ks as well. Oy. We'll take it. That's not too bad. Let's go ahead and just block that one. Not let them do it again. If they have it. Queen. Oh, we only got the Sabo. We find the Sabo. Is it potentially worth killing a thing here? That's the question. Yeah. Bottom. Okay, that's a non-counter. They're at 7 cards. I could draw cards. Let's go 9, see what they do. They block. Make them go down to very low hand. They take, which means they're gonna try and kill us here, and well, they're not gonna try and kill us here. Probably could have. We've only got 3k encounter. They're gonna be doing double queen. That means they're not attacking us, which is, you know, it's okay with me. Okay. Yes. We'll go 5, 7. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 6-9, and I'm just going to play the blocker. Oops, sorry, hit my mic. Okay. Interesting that they're giving us counter like that. Let's go at life. Block. And then we will play our own blocker. And I feel okay. We are 7k leader. We have 4k encounter right now. They do rest our blocker. They go all in. That's going to be 12. Huh. Yeah, them having that is not good. if I go 8, 9, 10, 11, I would need it to be a 2K. So let's not. Ugh. They go 10. I think it boils down to me having a 2K here because they go. Yeah. Oh, it's a 2K. Ooh, that's pretty good. All right, GG's. Yeah, definitely came down to us having that 2K in life there. If we didn't, we were cooked. Because I could have countered that set at that 8. I go to no cards though, and then they can go 7 and 8. So regardless of what they like, I needed a 2K counter there. But we got it. So hey, that's pretty good. Yeah. Okay, we've got a game against Perona. I'm gonna go second. We got 2 bros. Pudding. We'll try it. We're going second. Another pudding. Definitely not pulling out a little brother here because they're just gonna rest it and attack into it. They're gonna go 6, which I will happily take. Viola's good as backup here. We don't hit a Sabo or Luffy. Yeah, we whiff entirely. That's not great. Yep. Guess that will do. And I'm gonna swing 9. And this is what I was saying about the deck and why it just feels terrible sometimes, because really you've got 12 targets. I've already got 2 of them in my hand, so I had 10 left in my deck. Statistically speaking, I should see 1, but I didn't, and you know, that's just how the game works sometimes. So chances are all of them are going to be at, you know, all of them are going to be in the same spot now. Let's go ahead and counter that one. I will take this one. Another pudding. Horizon. Can we find anything this time? We find a Sabo. Not the best, but we'll take it. Boy. No. And then a little annoying because they've got the blocker there. You take it though. Could potentially have a nice pudding next turn. I guess ideally we find a Luffy so we can cheat that out. We've also got the gravity blade in case we need it. Wouldn't be the worst thing ever. They play out something big here. The enemy rest looks like KOing our Sabo. X-Drake or Ryuma likely coming down here. They're gonna be swinging 7 at me. I will give them a pudding. And then, yeah, Ryuma. So, is it worth getting rid of their board here? Or do we want to try and stay a 7? Probably want to try and stay a 7, but it's also like... Only got Luffy. Only seen 1. Yeah. Guess we'll do this. And then it's gonna suck if they counter it, but yeah. Anyway, they block it. We'll just go ahead and play this, hope it ruins their day. Got nothing else better to do, to be honest. Got a card from their hand, so hopefully we just put some garbage in there. All bricks. Makes sense. At least we got to heal. Not looking great for us, to be honest. I don't have enough little bros in my hand. Go ahead and counter that one. I'm gonna counter that one too. Looks like a Moria is coming down. Gonna grab some searches. Another ace. Yikes. I can't do anything with that. Didn't even want to put the Sabo in there. That was an accident. Yeah, I guess we're gonna do this. We're gonna have a lot of aces now because this life here is an ace as well. Not good. I got the Moria now, which is rough. 10 Dawn. We could even see a Doflamingo come down. Lock up our leader. Be annoying. Only got 4 cards. I suppose there's a world where we can still get it. And just be attacking into the pudding, which is totally cool with me. Much rather that than them attacking into my life right now. But they are going to be swinging with some Branos now. Look at them pudding. Alright, looks like another Moria is coming down. Yep. That's not good. Shoo. Surely. Yeah, there's all the Luffys. Now I've got no counter here, which is rough. Deciding if it's better to even... yeah. Let's try and get them to 0. Hope they've got no 2Ks. Maybe we can finish the game next turn. But I think we're probably just dead here. Because I've got no counter right now. Yeah. They got 2 Morias. They can don those boys up. And it's not going to be a good time for us. I think best case scenario, they're scared to go for game and they try and like clear the ace instead. The ace is rested, so they could potentially use their Dawn minus and play Ryuma or an X-Drake to kill it. that would probably be pretty good for me because it means they are not using their Dawn to try and kill me. But okay, they do just swing into it, and I have to let that go. Two geckos is rough. We're gonna counter that one because we can. And now we're probably not dead this next turn, but it looks like they're gonna be getting rid of our Luffy. I'll take it. Is that really all aces? Okay, that's cool. Never playing Brook. I mean, we can just play it and go for it. It's kind of where we're at, I guess. I guess we could do this. We whiff. Ugh. They don't got it. Ah, they had it. GG. Oh man, they had it exactly too. So close. I don't think it would have been better there because the other play we had was to play aces out, but they had 2 2 1 1. If I go 5, they counter 7, they counter 7, they block. Yeah, doesn't change anything. I needed to have like the little Sabo in hand, find the little Sabo, or find the big Sabo, then I could do it much more efficiently, but was not the case, unfortunately. So yeah, that was a close one still. Okay, we got a game against the red-purple Law. This hand is okay. I've got 2 brothers and a Garp. 2 Garps. Let's take an ace. Oh, I should have taken the probably the little one. Okay, we got another little one. But we should probably take the Sabo just so we have as many options as possible next turn. Does suck. We know 2 ace now. 2 little ace are on the bottom, which kind of sucks, to be honest. There's a Sabo and a Zoro, which they're not going to be attacking with. I think we just, yeah, because this is harder for them to get rid of. So even though we don't get to rush with it, this is at least hard for them to get rid of because it is a natural 7. So that means they can't just Gordon it like they would be able to with a Sabo or a Luffy. But they do have the Fire Fist, so I guess it didn't matter anyways. Pretty good. Don't have a 2K here. That sucks too. On clay. Okay. We get to keep ourselves at 7K leader at least. Don't really have anything else we can do though. We do have some 2Ks now, which is good. Maintaining a 7K leader against this deck might just be good enough though, because in order to use all their effects, it's going to be hard for them to keep swinging 7s when they're constantly trying to get rid of our threats. But we do get to keep the Luffy. We do get to keep the Luffy. They're going to draw some cards. Okay. The Rise Max is here. That's actually really good. Huh. I could just use this turn, which honestly feels pretty good. I think. Yeah. Let's hit those two. Now what I could do here is use this Luffy's effect, but I think if I do that I might die. But also it means I can't just get rid of it, so I'm going to. Okay. Might not have been the move. But now we get to go 6-8, and this does last into their turn, so they can't just Rise Max to get rid of it. They're gonna have to Rise Max into something else. So I guess I did just give them a free 8k swing. But maybe I want to bait them into going for it. Maybe that's what I want. I don't die. And then I can putting them. Okay, they're not, does not look like they were going for it. Oh. Okay. That's pretty good. I believe this does not last. Yeah, this isn't great now. Huh. I'm gonna do this. Don't get to be a 7k. I probably should have been a 7k. You only got 2 Dawn. Silly me. I guess that could be worse though. It might give me the blocker now. Oh, yeah, they get to make it a 7 still. I forgot. I thought it had to block my leader. The 2k. Man, that does suck. They're gonna get rid of this too. Maybe I can bait them into thinking I have nothing. Well, that worked out. Nice. Probably would have been better again, like I said, if I had made myself a 7k last turn, but I did not do that. So, almost lost the game. Probably would have been safer there if they just played out the Shoutout, but I did have the Yamato, so I could have gone. I don't think it would have been good enough though, because it would be. It's only a 4. So yeah, I don't think it would have been good enough. I guess I had the Garp still on the board too. I don't know. GG's. That was pretty good. All right, and we are back for the post game wrap. I guess we did quite a few games on a sim, and I think I only lost one of them to Perona. I didn't get to play against a lot of the better decks. Like, I didn't play against Katakuri. I don't think I played against NL while I was recording. I did play one against NL earlier, and I did get it. I didn't play against like Sakazuki or anything like that. I don't even think I played against the Gecko Mori. I played against like some red purple laws, Yamatos, or like some of those mid-tier decks, a couple Sabos. And the deck did okay. Like I said, the deck when it works is pretty solid, but there are just games where you don't see anything and it feels like nothing is going your way and you just want to rip all your hair out. But when it works, it feels pretty strong. The deck actually did surprisingly good into red purple law, because being a 7k leader against that deck is oftentimes enough to just get you there on its own. Even if your Luffys and your Sabos are getting removed because they're only 6ks and your opponent can just use a Gordon or a Rise Max leader effect, get rid of it. A lot of time just being that 6k or 7k leader is enough to just get you there in the end. So all in all, the deck was pretty solid. I definitely liked having the Gravity Blade. I think in the red purple law game you'll get to see, you guys just watched, especially it came in pretty clutch. Also pretty solid in the Sabo match. So like all in all, I really liked having the Gravity Blade, but if that's not quite what you're feeling, I totally understand. Like I said, Dexter was running like some Shirahoshis and whatnot, but all in all, the deck felt pretty solid. It gets better in OP07. We get the 5-cost blue ace as well as the Egghead Luffy, which I think are both very good additions to the deck. I wish there was just a better target for Sabo. Like the KO effect doesn't come up often, so he's usually just a body, but it is what it is. So yeah, that's the deck. I was pretty happy with how it went in the end. So you know, as always, thank you so much for watching till the end if you're still here. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. But with all that said, that's gonna wrap things up for today. I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.